Hey guys, and welcome back to the Jared Report, where we discuss everything that we love pop culture from movies to TV shows. So, the Wayne brothers are returning for Scary Movie 6, or as they're calling it, just Scary Movie. And I'm here to tell you, it's not a good movie, guys.
Oh, shit, son.
If you had seen any of the critic reviews, this movie is not doing well. It didn't land well with the critics, which is something I was already expecting just because I feel like critics don't really like spoof movies. Any spoof movie historically has not done well. So when I had initially heard that, I was kind of thinking like, what is everyone expecting? What were the critics expecting? It's a scary movie. These films aren't going to win you an Oscar. They're not going to do anything for you other than just, have a good time.
Damn, that's some quantum shit right there, man. Talking about? You should be teaching classes. You stay dropping out.
But this is a comedy. And what I was expecting was to laugh a lot. And unfortunately, I didn't. Don't get me wrong. There were a few jokes, that totally caught me off guard and it worked. But for the majority of the film, I was just kind of sitting there waiting for more. Now, let me give you a little background. Scary Movie 1 through 3, those are my favorite. I know the Wayne brothers they were not involved with 3 through 5. I know 3, 4 and 5, a lot of people don't like those. 3 I don't really understand because I feel like that is still like a good scary movie. It is on the same realm as Scary Movie 1 and 2 with the comedy and like a thorough storyline. And of course, Scary Movie 1 and 2. Those are amazing. Like those still hold up today. I love rewatching those films. I grew up watching these movies religiously. So that's why when I saw the trailer for the new one, I was like, man, like we're back. Like we're finally going to get some good spoof movies. Everything that I had seen in the trailer like really resonated with me. They're going to touch on a little bit of the political side of things, but other than the jokes that we had seen in the trailer, not a lot of them landed with me. And it was also disappointing because I wasn't really loving a lot of the jokes throughout the film, and then the ones that we see in the trailer come, like the sinners scene where they're like, we're gonna do some half gay shit, and Ray comes around and he's like, why only half gay? Like that was a great joke, but it kind of just fell flat because I had already seen it in the trailer. And then same with like the whole Cindy and Brenda joke where she's like, oh, I'm Republican now and I don't really like black people. um, and just all those, like, they just kind of landed flat because we had already seen them in the trailer. And then just a lot of the jokes throughout the film, I just felt like there was a lot going on. Like there was too much that they were trying to fit in to this movie, a lot of things that they were catching up on from over 20 years, like that's one of the great things about Scary Movie 1 and 2. Like you have this solid storyline that the film follows throughout with their references and, little side things that they throw in here and there. But I've heard other people say this and I totally agree. This is just kind of like a movie made up of a whole bunch of small little bits that were just thrown together. So it didn't really come off very well. And again, like this is a comedy, so it's supposed to make me laugh. I was not expecting best motion picture at the Oscars. I wasn't expecting anything like that. I was just expecting to have a good time, laugh a whole bunch, and unfortunately, I really didn't. And I'm going to touch loosely on spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film, you've been warned.
Wait, there's more.
So before I go any further, let me talk about one of the things that I really enjoyed about the movie. I really enjoyed how they took Scary Movie 5 and 6 and used those storylines loosely throughout the film. I thought it was a good idea because if you've seen Scary Movie 5 and 6, I think it's 5 where they basically kind of do a, a soft reboot, like where you still have the old legacy characters and then you're introduced to new characters that the story is going to follow, which they did here. Kind of that's what they did, bringing back uh, Brenda and Sydney and Shorty and Ray. We even got Doofy back and the little hand guy from Scary Movie 2. And there was also a cameo of Cindy's boyfriend from the first movie, which we saw in the trailer. But that's one of the things I really enjoyed. Like, I think that was a good direction for the Wayne brothers to take, was to kind of play on these Scream movies where they're introducing new characters, but we still have those legacy characters that we love. Unfortunately, the 99% of everything else just really wasn't good, guys.
Yo, y'all watching this tape right now? That means I didn't make it. Either I'm a prisoner or worse, dead.
It just wasn't what I was expecting. Because if you look at all the films that the Wayne brothers have done, Scary Movie 1, 2, there's White Chicks, A Haunted House, the first one, um, Don't Be a Menace in South Central, whatever, it's that long ass title. Like, those are good spoof movies. And of course, they're chaotic like any other spoof movie. There's not going to be some intriguing storyline, but they're supposed to follow that single thread throughout the film. And they just don't do that here. And to be honest with you guys, there's like five things that I could count on my hand where I actually laughed and like enjoyed the joke. But the majority of the rest of the film, there really isn't. I'm not sure what they were going for. I'm not sure who this movie is for. And like I said, like I was not expecting a lot, guys. When I had already seen the initial reviews, I already knew. I was like, "Oh, yeah, critics don't like it. That makes sense. 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. That makes sense." But it's just super disappointing because I grew up with these movies. Like I said, I love Scary Movie 1 through 3. Those are great films. They're great spoof movies. I feel like we don't get spoof movies anymore. It's very, very rare. And especially with the Waynes returning, like I was expecting Scary Movie 1 and 2 levels, but it seemed like Scary Movie 5, which I had never seen. I don't think I've ever seen Scary Movie 5, but I could just tell by looking at it and what I've seen from it. Yeah, this movie is on the same level. And I've heard some other people say that this is probably the Wayans brothers' worst film, and I'd have to agree with that. Just it didn't land at all, and it kind of, I don't know, just fell out of place because these movies, they are fourth wall breaking. They make a lot of different references. It's very meta, but just constantly throughout the film they keep like doing all these weird references. Like in the very beginning, the one lady who's in One Battle After Another, she is like talking about her awards that she was nominated for. And then throughout the film, they keep referencing that, Scary Movie 3, 4, and 5 weren't made with the Wayne brothers. And, they give shit to Cindy and Bredna for being in 3 and 4. And then at the very end, they have this huge, like, killer reveal where, there's Shaq there, the one guy who's in Scary Movie 3 and 4. It's Anthony Anderson. That's who I'm thinking of. He's in Scary Movie 3 and 4. But they do this whole bit where it's like, you guys were in Scary Movie 3 and 4. Like, they just keep doing these callbacks. And it was just a little too fourth wall breaking. It didn't make me laugh at all. The only thing I thought was funny is they were talking shit about Kevin Hart because they're like, that guy says yes to every movie. And then I'm over here thinking, like, what the fuck? This guy says yes to literally everything, but he couldn't come back for Scary Movie. He couldn't come back for the Wayne brothers. I thought that was a funny joke that they referenced. And then I felt like they had a good, like, little play on Get Out that they were doing. Yeah, there's this one scene where Shorty's outside and he sees, his nephew just running butt naked, full speed at him. That cracked me up just because that scene that comes directly from Get Out, uh, when I can't remember the character's name, the main dude in that. When he's outside, he sees like the grandpa who's in that other dude's body, just like running full speed at him. And I love that scene because it just makes me crack up every time. So like I loved that. That was hilarious. And then they have Ray chasing him, and he's like, "Come here!" And then he goes inside, and they do the whole like tea scene where like Ghostface is circling the cup with the spoon and makes him go into the black realm where he just like sinks in. But then it cuts to this like weird Demon Hunter did like a whole golden kind of spin-off song or whatever that they were doing, and that whole thing was just it didn't land for me, guys. It was not funny. It felt like a very oddly placed scene. But again, it's just kind of like I was saying earlier, like they're trying to fit too much into this movie. And of course, had to reference K-pop Demon Hunters. But overall, just very disappointing. Like I said, I was expecting to laugh, have a good time. I already knew it wasn't going to be a good movie. What are you expecting? It's scary movie. Like they're going to be stupid and they're going to have a whole bunch of jokes, but unfortunately the jokes just didn't land for me. And it just kind of bums me out just because I love the scary movies. Like it made me just want to go watch Scary Movie 1 and 2 just because those are so great. And I really hope like if they get a second chance, I want this movie to do good in the box office, so maybe we could get another scary movie. And now that they've kind of let everything out, maybe we can finally get like a solid return to form for the Wayans brothers. And there was also a White Chicks reference. I would love a White Chicks too. If it's gonna be like this though, or like a Happy Gilmore 2, please don't do it. Only if you have a solid story. Only if you're gonna return back to form. But seriously, I want them to do another scary movie after this, and maybe we could do a little bit better because overall, it fell flat, guys. And some of you will probably be like, "Well, what were you expecting?" I was expecting to laugh a little bit. But anyway, guys, that is it from me. So, have you seen Scary Movie? What did you think about it? What is your favorite scary movie? And if you enjoyed it, that is great. Awesome, awesome on you. But anyway, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next Jared Report.
Goodbye, Tom.